go.
Greetings all, Shane Bruce, Restomod Daisy. Yeah, it's been a while since we did a long-term, long-form, long-format, large format, huge format video, but we're doing it today. And we're doing one on the mystery of the improved shot tubes. And this is all work done by Terry Cowger down in Florida, who I think is probably the best custom builder in the country right now. So, what we're going to talk about today are 3 different kinds of shot tubes, all of which have been improved by Terry Cowger engineering efforts. Let's go over here and take a look at this little guy. This is a Model 25 shot tube, original iteration with no magnet. Still has the spring binder on it to keep the BB from rolling down the barrel when the gun is fired. And like all Model 25 shot tubes, let me get my little pointer here. You'll notice that there is a hole. Right there, the hole. Now that hole allows the BB to actually get into the shot tube to be fired down the barrel. But that hole also allows air to leak out violently, and you lose pressure, and if you lose pressure, you lose some speed. So that's essentially it. That's the original version with the seam shot tube. This is the current production shot tube, and you'll notice it's constructed a bit differently. Even though you cannot see it, there is still a hole that allows these BBs to track down here, be picked up by a magnet, and held in the firing position until the air tube strikes the BB and fires it. But there is still a hole there. Now, this shot tube is better than that shot tube because it uses a seamless steel barrel, so there's no leaks there, but still has the major leak, the major flaw, located right here in the feeding mechanism, which you can't see unless you've got Superman eyeballs. But believe me, it looks essentially underneath the aluminum like the original did, a hole. Now, a lot of discussion has gone on for quite a while over at the $15 thread on the high road about what can be done to improve the performance of the current iteration Model 25 shot tube, to eliminate that gas blow-by. And one guy, Terry Cowger, has come up with a solution. Now, you'll notice as we compare the Terry Cowger shot tube with the factory shot tube, that the factory shot tube is kind of brazen. It allows you to see the BBs, but the Terry Cowger shot tube does not, because it has a brass tube that's actually installed into the original assembly, and as it travels down this way, it feeds the BB, but because there's a plug up here at the end, it's pressurized. So when that puff of air hits the BB and sends it down the barrel at a high rate of speed, the pressure stays the same. You don't have a pressure loss at the breech. Big deal. It's a big deal. So this little guy shoots a lot faster than this guy. And this guy shoots faster than the factory original. And how much faster, you ask? Well, I'm glad you asked that. We've done a considerable amount of research here at Restomod Daisy.
You have.
Chicken scratch research.
We've got the pages,
the bars. But anyway, there's a large piece of paper with lots of numbers on it, and this is the short piece of paper. Let's turn it sideways. Still get bars. Still get bars.
You're always going to get bars.
Give me one shot of that, and they can freeze frame it and capture the data and study it at their leisure.
Let me go from bottom to top because all of your clients.
All right, Cherry Baby, Flame On, Chiquita, Old Yeller, the gun with no name,
and they're going to have to put their glasses.
Serial number 1. Shorty, and Red Rider. Right. So those are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guns that I installed these shot tubes on, the current production shot tube and the Terry Cowger shot tube, to see what the difference in speed was. And there was a difference in speed. The average jump by going from this, which would get a gun running, to 355 with a high-speed magazine, the 25 magazine, a Cobalt 327 Super Spring, and a 764 air tube. In Cherry Baby, this shot tube will give you 355 feet a second. But if you sub in Terry's shot tube, the sealed shot tube jumps to 380. That's a big improvement percentage-wise. And it tracks along the way with all the other guns that we fired this combination in. So it worked out to about a 35 to 40 foot per second increase in speed by going to the Terry Cowger. Now, Here's another advantage with Terry's design. The original factory shot tube will hold 50 BBs, and that's because it's got a spring-driven device here, and you can't pack BBs all the way up in there. But Terry's tube loads from the muzzle. So you just take this plastic tip off here, you stick the plastic tip in there to block the actual shot tube, and then you can get 65 BBs. That's 15 more than, 15 more. All right, but the cool thing is you don't have to pull it out of the gun to load it. With the current production shot tube, you've got to remove it from the gun to actually get your BBs in it. So that's a process step you have to take. This is a lot. It's a little cumbersome to start with, but once you get the technique down, it loads pretty quick, and you get 65 rounds, and you get significantly more velocity per round. All right, so that's the Terry Cowger engineering solution for the Model 25 shot tubes. And the Model 25 shot tubes are important in Modland and Daisies because any of these shot tubes will fit the pre-78 guns like this Daisy number 111 here that were built prior to 1978 that still have the steel abutment washer in them because they have threads. So you just thread it in, shoot your gun, unthread it, or if you've got a Terry Cowger tube, and as far as I know, this is one of 2, maybe 3 in existence, you just pull your plug, shift it, load it, put it back, and get back to business with 15 extra rounds, all moving at 30 feet a second faster than this tube can do. Pretty cool stuff. Now, most people at this point in time, like Terry, would be satisfied with this. He's made a significant improvement to shot tube technology in Daisy modding land. He's a legend, really. But no, he's not satisfied with that. So let's move over here and take a look at this. This is his newest piece of work. If you'll notice, this is a post-78 abutment assembly by Daisy. This is actually what a new one looks like. It has a shot seamless tube barrel. It's got the plastic feed ramp, and once again we have our hole here where air can leak out and cost you velocity. Now, this shot tube does not screw in the gun. It actually mounts from the rear and is permanently installed like so. All right, so you can't just take it in, take it out, take it in, take it out. And in case you're wondering, this is what one looks like after it's been in the gun for a while. Get a little rusty, get a little crusty, a bit oxidized. The same basic magnet holding the BB in place. The hard seal, which is actually better than the old soft seals, lasts a lot longer. But Terry's solution was, well, if it worked on the Model 25 tube, why don't we take the brass tube, install it, JB Weld epoxy it in place so that we don't have the air tube leak, because if you'll notice, there ain't no hole here. There's no air, no way for the air to get out, and there's no way, unlike here, where air can escape and you can lose velocity. The tube, because of the cap, is pressurized. So when the impulse strikes, the same thing that works in the Model 25 tube works in this tube. Now, I don't have test data on this because I don't have a lot of post-78 Daisies, but I've got a few, and we're going to run it on as many of those guns as I can, which means it has to be installed, uninstalled, and reinstalled. But I'm expecting to see the speed difference to be as significant it is on the other ones. Excuse me a minute. So, like I said, more velocity, 65 rounds. It obviates the 500 BB capacity, but I think the increased velocity would probably make up for that. All right, so the post-78 fixed abutment Terry Cowger shot tube assembly, cool stuff. And this is the last one I want to show you. This is a single shot adapter. It's as high speed and high tech as you get. Nice big brass turned in piece. Carbon fiber barrel wrap, lined with a stainless steel tube, machined abutment washer with a niobium magnet, very high strength magnet in the base of the tube. Now, this is, excuse me again, swear to God we'll get done here. This is a specialty item because you do not get multiple shots. This converts Daisy like this into a single shot muzzle loader, kind of akin to the guns of the days of yore, back when Davy Crockett and Daniel Boone were wandering around the countryside. You have to actually drop your BB into the tube, and listen for it to go clink. But once you get that BB in the tube, with this design, there's absolutely, positively no loss of air pressure. Tolerances are tight. It shoots really quick. This tube is registered to over 500 feet a second in 3 of the 8 guns I shot it in. It's remarkable. It is a slow firing system, but it is remarkable. Now that I've got you all fired up, now that I got you all fired up about Terry Cowger technology, you're all going to be wanting to know, where can I get one of these things? Well, I got bad news for you, bub. You're going to have to build your own. Terry designs a lot of this stuff, but as you can tell, it takes a while to craft this kind of material. So he has courteously and provided the modding community with explicit detailed instructions and parts lists on how you can get your own brass tubes and what you need to do to get a post-78 Terry Cowger shot tube assembly built that's pressurized, a high-speed shot tube, what you need to do to build one of your own single shot adapters, and what you need to do to build a Model 25 Terry Cowger engineered shot tube. So right now there's no place that offers them for sale, and that includes here. As far as I know, this is the only time that these 3 tubes have been together and have been presented on video. And sad to say, after I finish my testing cycle, I got to send them back over to Mark Ritter at Cobalt 327, and eventually they'll work their way back to Terry. However, I want to say thank you to both those guys for allowing me the opportunity to work with this stuff. And I got to say, I got to get this, I got to build one of these, I got to build several of these, and I want to mess around with making 1 or 2 of these at some point in time in the future. But life is busy, life goes on, and we'll have to continue building guns, building parts, and then moving ahead. Kids, that's all we've got for you today, with numerous interruptions. My apologies. This is Shane Bruce with Restomod Daisy, signing off.
Oh, man.